Imagine you're standing on the dock with a friend, both of you eyeing the water and wondering if you could actually get out there together without lugging two separate kayaks, a paddle for each, and a tangled mess of gear. You've probably heard about pedal-driven tandem kayaks, but the price tag and the fear of ending up with a boat that feels more like a wobbly raft than a reliable platform make you pause. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the real-world pros and cons of the upgraded Brooklyn 13.5 Tandem pedal kayak so you can decide if it's worth the investment or if you'd be better off sticking with a solo paddleboard. First off, the biggest draw of any tandem pedal kayak is the ability to move without using your arms. The Brooklyn's dual flipper pedal drive system lets both occupants crank the pedals in sync, giving you forward motion while your hands stay free for fishing rods, a camera, or just relaxing with a coffee. In practice, that means you can spend an entire morning on a calm lake, casting lines and reeling in fish, without ever having to stop and switch to a paddle. The pedals feel solid, and because each foot has its own flipper blade, you get decent torque even when the water gets a little choppy. It's not a race car, but for leisurely cruising and steady fishing, the pedal drive is a genuine time saver. Capacity is another headline claim that matters. The Brooklyn lists a 680-pound rating, which comfortably covers 2 adults plus a decent amount of gear. In my test run, I loaded it with my wife, my 12-year-old son's tackle box, a small cooler, and a portable Bluetooth speaker. The kayak sat level, and the pedal resistance didn't spike dramatically, a sign that the hull is really built to handle weight without sacrificing stability. For anglers who like to bring extra rods, a bait bucket, and maybe a folding chair, that capacity translates into fewer compromises on the water. Stability is where the Brooklyn shines for beginners. The sight-and-top design, combined with a relatively wide beam, gives it a dry ride feel. Water splashes off the deck rather than flooding the cockpit. The precision rudder steering adds another layer of confidence, especially when you're navigating around small islands or trying to keep a steady position while waiting for a bite. The rudder responds quickly to foot pressure, so you can make subtle course corrections without having to stop pedaling. In a practical sense, that means less time fighting the boat and more time actually enjoying the outing. Now, let's talk about the downsides that often get glossed over in marketing copy. The first is size. At 13.5 feet long, the Brooklyn is a beast to transport. You'll need a roof rack or a trailer, and loading it onto the roof can be a 2-person job. If you live in a small apartment or have limited garage space, you'll have to factor in that logistical hurdle. The weight of the kayak itself, while not excessive for a boat of this size, still adds to the overall handling difficulty. For someone who only kayaks a few times a year, the effort of moving and storing this thing might outweigh the convenience of the pedal drive. Second, the pedal system has a learning curve. The dual flipper setup is intuitive once you get the rhythm, but if you're new to pedal kayaks, you'll likely spend the first hour or two figuring out how much pressure to apply on each foot to maintain a steady speed. Unlike a paddle where you can simply thrust forward, the pedals require coordination, especially when you have 2 people on board. If one rider is significantly stronger or more experienced, you may find yourself unevenly powered, which can cause the kayak to veer. The rudder helps, but it's not a substitute for synchronized pedaling. Another practical consideration is price. Tandem pedal kayaks sit in a higher price tier than standard sight-and-top models, and the Brooklyn is no exception. If you're looking for a boat solely for occasional weekend trips with a friend, the investment might feel steep. However, if you're planning regular fishing excursions, family outings, or even guided tours where you can charge a small fee per passenger, the capacity and hands-free operations start to justify the cost. Who should buy the upgraded Brooklyn? If you're an avid angler who wants to keep both hands on the rod while covering ground, this kayak is a natural fit. It also works well for families with kids who want to share the experience without each person needing a separate kayak. The large weight limit makes it suitable for carrying extra gear like a portable grill, a small cooler, or even a lightweight camping setup for a night on the water. People who enjoy leisurely touring of bays, mangroves, or calm rivers will appreciate the stable platform and the ability to move at a consistent pace without tiring out their arms. Who should skip it? Solo paddlers who rarely kayak with a partner will probably find a single-person model more practical and cheaper. If you're a speed-focused kayaker who